Hi, I'm gonna talk about shading hair randomly. Don't question that. Just double checking the layers. I really should name the layers. Okay. Dying art. And what is this? Blood? Blood. And this is Harry. Harry Potter. I should do this more often. And so I'm working on this. Oops. This thing. Let me save it real quick. And I'm rather while shading Epsilon's hair. I might talk about shading hair because why the fuck wouldn't I be? So usually the people that start with like drawing hair in general tend to like the absolute first thing they do is just straight up just draw every single hair straw, like individual hair straw, and but the thing is that if you don't exactly know what you're doing, it doesn't really look that good, and yeah, it just looks very weird, and you can't really shade it very easily either. Not like very early artists shade a lot, but I mean, for my case, it's in my case is that I was very young then, so and it's mostly just very young artists who do that. I'm not sure though, because I don't know a lot of artists in different ages, but anyways, back to the point. Um, so yeah, that isn't exactly what you want to be doing. A better thing is to do. A better thing is that you actually try to draw the hair mass itself, even though it can be pretty complicated to actually get the shape right. Um, and yeah, but it takes practice to be able to master some drawing things. Trust me, I I've trained basically my entire life for over 10 years, and yeah, I I improve very fast as well. I learned mistake by my mistakes in older drawings and stuff. Anyways, back to the actual point. Um, um, the thing is, I was going to talk about shading hair, not like, I mean, well, it is mostly just drawing hair in general, but shading hair. I mean, at first you need to be able to draw hair, just in the line art so it looks reasonable, and you need to like make it be able to work with the shading, because otherwise it would just look very weird. Like, yeah, I mean that it does sound very obvious, because of course you want to make the line art actually work with the shading, because otherwise I don't know what the hell you're doing. You're probably drunk and you should probably go to sleep. Anyways, and yeah, you just need to think that when you do the shading, some people just just do random scribbling lines across the hair to make it look somewhat like hair. But that's not really a good idea either, because first of all, it looks way more messy and and but I don't know how do I put it? Bit lazy, and it also the hair usually isn't completely straight, even if the character has very smooth and straight hair. It's never completely straight, and it's very difficult if you just use like a brush or something that just makes completely random lines or something, because you can't really control it so easily. Um, though, of course, before I continue on this topic, of course, it's different in different art styles, of course. If you do some kind of art style where the hair isn't really that realistic, then and like barely even shows that there's hair straws, and of course this is not the case for how you should shade, but I'm just kind of explaining how to make the hair look a bit more realistic. I wouldn't say my hair looks extremely realistic, but what can you really do with this kind of hair? Anyways, so what you have to do is you you have to like make the shading go after the hair straw like as well as you can, and yeah, I'm gonna show you an example in a bit, like how I do it, um, because obviously it's not easy, but the way I do it is that yeah, you see I used to outline, not outline, but I'd like draw around the edges of the hair, like this, and then I just smudge it out to make it look more roundish and not. Well, I mean, of course, as I said, you could be doing more cell shading, like, but yeah, as I said, I'm talking about a bit more realistic style, and even like yeah, then you might just be saying like, yeah, why is this necessary if I don't have a realistic art style? Well, the thing is that it is very good to know the basics about how realism looks like, to be able to bend the rules into making more cartoony or yeah, whatever, like stuff. You need to know how to draw something properly before you can make it look different. So it helps a lot, even if you don't draw realistically, it helps a lot to be able to make your simple drawings better. Like, in many ways. And I'm sure many artists has mentioned that before. But yeah, anyways, as I was saying, so yeah, I just draw around like this, just around, and yeah, I use my mouse to shade because, uh, well, first of all, my tablet laptop, I don't have Photoshop on it, so I can't really do this kind of shading there. Um, and second of all, it feels a bit easier to do it with mouse. Um, and the reason why is because you get a bit like more better, you have more accuracy at getting at least pretty roughly the right way you want it, and it doesn't really matter if it looks messy because I mean for me anyway, because I smudge it out like this. It doesn't even, like, you can't even see it was a messy line there before. Um, and yeah, so I just do that and just make sure that the like on the edge it's just the darkest color uh, that you're choosing. It depends on the lighting in that's surrounding the character, of course. If it's high contrast, like very strong shadows, or if it's just normal or whatever. So it depends on how much contrast you want in the shading. But yeah, there you can just pick different darker colors for a thing. But just make sure that that is completely covering uh, where you want it to be. That was a stupid advice, but who cares? Um, and yeah, just making it as smooth as possible so it actually looks a bit more like in 3D than just looking like random stuff on a thing. Yes, a very nice description, I know. Uh, um, but yeah, there's a problem, but smudging. Um, um, if you do it too much too close to the edge, then you just smudge it all out from. Fucking hell! I just keep doing that. I hate whatever. I hate whatever. Anyways, as I was saying, so you wouldn't try avoiding that if you use this kind of smudge thing. Anyways, then the next step that I do to make it look better, because now it just sort of looks like it's made out of like some kind of clay or something, or some kind of figurine. So you wanted to make it, you want to make it look a bit more like actual hair and not just some weird figurine hair or something like that. So then you need to add these kinds of things here. I mean, and once again, this is how I do it. Not you don't have to do it like this, but it does help. At least from my experience. So basically, what I do is pretty much the same thing as I did for basic shading. But instead of drawing it on the edges, I draw it like this, and it doesn't really matter exactly where you put them. Just put them pretty close to each other so it looks normal. Keep fucking up the line. Also, if you do more like this, like this, then it sort of looks like it spins around, which sort of looks like here. It wasn't really intentional, but I think it looks alright anyway. Just a tip if you want the hair to look like it's just spin around in a weird way. I don't know why you would want that, but who cares? It helps to add some dimension, I guess. Anyways. So yeah, you just draw lines like that, and you don't need to just, because that doesn't look any good. Just be careful. Just slowly draw lines like this after trying to copy the curve of the line art as well as you can, or if you want it to look like it has spun around a bit, you can just do that. Anyways, then just I smudge it out. Just like basic shading for the hair. Yeah, as you can see, it already looks a bit more like hair and less than clay. I mean, it still sort of looks like clay, but that's just my art style. Excuses for not learning. I wanna die. Anyways, I think it looks alright anyway, that's why I'm not trying harder. Because I'm happy with how it looks like as it is. Anyways, back to the point. So yeah, of course you don't want to just do it like this, because then you kind of get it fucked up. You need to do it after the lines to make it look, so you don't just completely smudge out the lines so you can't even see them anymore. I smudged them out a tiny bit to make them have less contrast. Did so nothing. Anyways, so yeah, like something like that. And yeah, that's pretty much how I shade hair. Of course, as I said, you don't need to shade your hair, shade hair like I do, but it is pretty good from what I've experienced. Though of course I'm not a professional artist, so I can't really say anything. My opinion or experience doesn't really matter that much compared to others, but this is just my tips for the people that want to, I don't know who would actually want to draw like me, but who cares. Yeah, this is just gonna take a few hours to finish. It's very nice. Well, I hope you guys have a good day or something, or like good afternoon on a night. Bye.